Yes. So I'm sure everybody read through the charter on the website and doesn't need this, but just in case there's a few people out there. Basically, the scope, as Marcus just said, is to try and bring together all people who are interested in viruses of things that are not as big as we are. So viruses of microorganisms. And basically, if you are interested in them, you are eligible to be a member. That is the only requirement. It doesn't matter what academic level, whether you're coming from medicine or industry, we have spaces for that. As far as the objectives, it is very broad and very loose because as we wrote this charter, we recognized that we needed room to grow and change with time. So we tried not to pigeonhole and get very tightly classified in any way. But the broad idea is to improve knowledge about these viruses, a public education mode, to act as a resource center for people who are trying for, whether from government or industry, who are looking to make connections with other people who are interested, and basically not to be a Congress or governing body, but more as a central location where you can find information, and to slowly add more and more information that we can provide to people. And then the other thing, of course, is to help with organizing meetings like this. Obviously, this meeting is well organized, but in the future, as I'm sure Rob can attest, it's always nice to have some people who can help advise you with these things so you don't have to recreate them from the ground up. And hopefully that would also be a role in promoting these kinds of meetings as well. So structurally, there are 4 groups. You all out there, the members, are, of course, without you, there's no point to the rest of this. We could do this with 6 people, but it would be nice to have members who are participating and who are acting as a part of this, giving us new ideas, because Lord knows we've mined ourselves out for ideas quite a bit already. But as far as the other officials, we divided up into 3 categories. There are the trustees, who are sort of the equivalent of a board of directors. And actually, I'll just jump to that. They're charged with the overall policy making. They are 5 members. 3 of them are at-large members, so they are not affiliated with other parts of the organization. And then the president of the executive board is also a member of the trustees, as well as the scientific advisory board, which I'll talk about in a minute. The chair of that board is also a trustee. So the terms are slightly staggered because other parts define terms for the president, and the board chair is 2 years, the at-large member are 3-year terms, and hopefully that keeps things rotating so that there's never all new people coming in at the same time. But there will always be some people with some experience as new members come in. And this is a position that will be elected. Initially, everybody was more of a volunteer, but as we start going through the terms, these will be elected positions. As far as the officers, you already know who most of the officers are because they're mostly sitting here. And the difference between the trustees and the officers are supposed to be looking long-term. The officers are like, oh my God, we have to file our tax return this year, or oh, let's add some information to the website. We're the day-to-day group of people who hopefully keep things running. And so we have a number of different positions set up to try and cover the various business type things that have to be covered. You have to have somebody keeping track of the money. You have to have somebody keeping track of the website, somebody recording the information, those kinds of things that every organization has to have. These are all 2-year terms, and 2 years from now, anybody wants to volunteer and be elected, that is, if you go into the details of the charter, people can nominate themselves, people can be nominated by other people. It's sort of a self-promoting group that way. And we will be having votes. We recognize that meetings like this don't happen very often, so we've also allowed for electronic voting as well. So let us have your current email addresses. And then the Scientific Advisory Board, which is not really represented here, but although a number of members are out there, they are meant, these have open terms, people will be coming and going. This is a much larger group. I think we have 12 now, is that the right number? We have a number of them. They are all at the bottom of that advertisement, you can count. And their charge is much more advisory, hence advisory board. So looking at general directions that the society might want to look into, to promote. That's also where some of the expertise in organizing meetings will be drawn from. So although you might contact the president, he very well might direct you to one or two of these board members who have done meetings in your general part of the world and can help with that. Those sorts of looking at the big picture kinds of roles that are there. And I think that's my last bit of slide. Does anybody have any questions about that? There's a lot more detail in the charter. If anybody has specific questions, you could ask now, you could talk to me. I was part of the charter writing group, so I sort of know the details if I can remember them. No? Okay, thank you. Who is talking? Are we going to do the vote right now? All right, here's your chance to do your first membership task. It's not practical to count. So let me just say, does anybody?
Paul,
yes.
if we have no more than 25, I lost count at some point, but if we have no more than 25 nays, we're fine.
Okay, so let's keep this simple. If you object to adopting the charter, raise your hand. Seeing no objections, yes, I was in student government.
For formality, we probably should vote in favor.
Well, no, seeing no objections, the motion passes unanimously. Trust me, I know Robert's Rules of Order. But okay, everybody who is in favor, raise your hand.
We better be.
Still seeing no objections, seeing unanimous acceptance. The motion passes. We now are officially chartered. Thank you.